Hi, my name's Paul Maddison. I'm the founder of KynticAI. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of background really on where the business come from and what products we've got. So I've worked as an enterprise software engineer for about the last 25 years. I understand enterprise software data and how it's basically stored across organisations. Over the last 3 to 4 years, I've been studying AI extensively, and then basically, so what KynticAI is a mixing is a meeting in the middle. So what I identified was what we need to really do is we need to be able to make AI work with businesses. So what I've done with Kintic AI is I've developed 3 products. So the first one is called Context Engine. This is our main product, and what this does in essence is we've got an open source version, we've got a paid version, we've got an elite version, which is an enterprise version. What this basically does is it takes all the data sets from any business. So this sits over the top of any type of business that stores data. We've got basically connectors for various things like SQL, CRMs, etc. It gets all the information from the database, from the database, from the different connectors. It stores it in a proprietary Rust engine / vector database, LanceDB vector database, which we've built. So what this does, this can store basically billions of different relationships and attribution paths across different data sets. That's where the product's magic really happens. This is what took the vast majority of the last 7 months to develop. So what this does, what we do then is basically we come to a user, something happens in a business, so basically an email request comes in. What you do is then you feed that email request into the proprietary engine. The engine then basically looks all the different relationships, basically looks at that email address, see if we've used it before, looks at similar email addresses, looks at similar paths that the user's used. And what it does then, it produces a set of relationship changes, like a data graph in JSON of all the relationships. That data graph is then put into an LLM. And then basically what the LLM can do is produce a textual output based on relationships because it's got context. Normally with an LLM, you'll give it a thing and say, okay, this sale, this email address, what can we do with it? But the LLM's got no context. The relationship graph, the data graph gives it the context. So what the LLM will produce then, it'll produce outcomes. It'll say, okay, if you want to do a conversion and sell this person, the best thing to do is send them a follow-up email. If you want them to register an account, the best thing to do is basically send them this or do this with them. If you basically want them to basically interact with you, the best thing to do is call them. Basically gives you different outcomes for the business. That's our main product. I'm really excited by that. I believe this could roll out across every business in the world, really. We've then got a secondary product called Importance Engine. And what that does is basically, it's got a C products mainly. The main one is the kernel. And what the Importance Engine kernel does is you can apply important weighting to different things. So we mentioned before, email addresses and stuff like that. We've got different things in there. What you can do with Importance Engine, you can weight different things. So you can basically, that's just a raw relationship data graph. What Importance Engine you can do, you can weight different weightings against each data you store. A secondary product is called what's called Klopp Engine, and that was basically similar. Actually, it was funny because it was based on how Jurgen Klopp made me being a Liverpool fan. It was based on how Jurgen Klopp made people feel. So what the importance of the Klopp Engine does. Normally, when using LLM, it can scold you sometimes, it can make you feel a little bit down, it can make you a little bit feel a little bit deflated in terms of how it talks to you. What the Klopp Engine does is specifically it works with like the neuroscientists, and basically it specifically makes you feel better when you come away from the chat. Feel like you've got what you wanted and now you feel better. So basically it uses a set of algorithms and science to do that. And the third one is called forensic pattern matching. Now this is really important, really niche. So basically what we've done is when I developed this business, I spent 3.5 years. What I've done is spent 4 weeks with a raw LLM set. So what AI works is basically using probability. And what I've done then with the forensic pattern matching, I basically built up a 25,000 message chat. So what I'm doing is I'm testing with the chat different. So I'm using text to basically, if you like, probability test different ideas. So basically, I was testing the technology, the best technology to use, the best business ideas, how I want to market it, what's the valuation. Basically, a load of information I'm testing. So I'm basically testing it with the probability engine of a main AI system. And I'm testing basically my ideas to see what the AI comes back responds with. So is this a good idea? Is this not a good idea? What do you think? And basically based on the strength of the answer is based on how high the probability is. So that's how we develop forensic pattern matching. That can be really useful for things like interviewing people for jobs, and analysing investment packs for businesses, police, military stuff, analysing how somebody is answering or analysing documents, analysing how basically what it basically does is it MVT tests the text, AI text. And the final one is called the clarity point proxy. And what this does, in essence, is clarity gateway, proxy. I really named it recently. What that does in essence is it sits above an LLM. So you've got your engine, which would be a React website, whatever it is, your chat window. Basically, this goes to our gateway before it goes to the LLM. And what the gateway does is it basically looks at the answer, at the question you've asked, and it goes, okay. For example, a good example I use is we're used to the word propaganda. So a good example is, do public figures in the US post right-wing propaganda? For example, does Elon Musk post right-wing propaganda? What the clarity gateway will do, it'll go, okay, it'll come back and it'll say, okay, well, this is ambiguous, this is going to give us an ambiguous answer, because basically the word propaganda is not understood by the user. So basically we come back with a load of paragraphs saying, well, no, he doesn't, blah, 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 blah. So what we do with clarity answer is, okay, do you mean does Elon Musk post a lot of right-wing political views rather than propaganda? If the user comes back and says yes, then it'll come back with a simple answer and say, yes, he does. Otherwise, if we wouldn't have done that clarifying answer, we would have got a big ambiguous answer saying no, he doesn't, and a big load of ambiguous answer, and then you've got 4, 5, 6 messages while the user saying, well, I thought he does, basically an argument with the LLM. It gives you a truthful model quicker, and it saves you a fortune on token costs. So yeah, they're the main product sets which we're going for in a minute. As I say, really excited about it. We've got everything built now. I've spent every spare hour I've had over the last 7 months building this system, and now we're ready to go out to investors, go out to basically go out and get some design partners and basically roll it out across the world. Really excited about it, and I'm hopeful. I'll keep you updated with videos going forward. But yeah, this just wants to introduce you to KynticAI, introduce you to myself, Paul Maddison, the founder, and hopefully we'll have a good story going forward.